let's go ahead and talk about wedding makeup and hair. And then we'll touch on these two questions.
Okay, great. Okay, so as far as wedding hair and makeup goes, it's definitely a little bit different than what you would think of as far as your everyday makeup. You have to think about the HD cameras that are being used on you during these beautiful professional pictures that you're having taken. You spend all these money on these beautiful pictures, and if you're wearing your normal everyday makeup, it's just not going to translate. It's not going to look right. So it's really important to have somebody who's a professional makeup artist who works with professional photographers and is really familiar with working with HD compatible makeup. It's very, very important. So I highly recommend hiring a professional makeup artist. A lot of salons will offer makeup as well, but maybe they don't. Maybe they only do like one wedding a year or something like that. So you really want to find somebody who has a really good portfolio and has a lot of experience with weddings and special events. So I would definitely do your homework and kind of see if you're looking to hire somebody, what some of their pictures from their past work and what their most recent work is too. Like you don't want to hire somebody that all the work that they show you is from, 1992. So definitely do your homework and make sure that somebody is really familiar with the products that are up and coming and the products that are really hot right now, so that they know how to utilize them to your advantage. So yeah, I would say finding somebody that has a lot of experience, finding someone that knows how to apply it correctly, so that even though you do have to take makeup for film and TV and photography, you have to do it a little bit heavier, but it doesn't have to feel heavy, if that makes sense. So some people, they might get their makeup professionally done for a photo shoot and they might be like, whoa, I feel like I have a lot on. But then you go back and look at those pictures and you're like, whoa, I look amazing. Like I've never looked so good. And so you kind of have to remember when you have that done, it's going to look different than what you do every day because, well, number one, you didn't do it yourself. And number two, it was done by a professional who's going to take a little bit extra time and care and attention to really bring out your features.
And hang on, let me get that feedback away. So one of the things with photography and makeup, I can tell you that for all the photographers out there, they will tell you that if you have, as photographers, what they truly care about is that there's plenty of time for hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be photographed all day long. It's going to be something that is, it's going to be in every photo, and a camera is two-dimensional, so it does not see depth. And so what you guys are doing, from there's a huge difference whether you're choosing a professional or whether you're not. And a lot of people are thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know that I want to invest. But I completely 100% agree and believe in how important it is to spend that extra money for hair and makeup, because when it comes to makeup, because the camera is only two-dimensional, you're creating depth with the makeup, which is not really is not something that we want to go edit that. So for me, your guys, what you guys do as professional hair and makeup artists is absolutely one of the most important things of the day, because it makes a huge difference when they look. I mean, this is one of the best days of their life, and you want to look, I think what you always say is your best version of yourself.
Yeah.
I know you've said that, to me when you did my makeup and hair. So, that makes a huge difference. And then tell us about how the trial works and why, because to me, that's another incredibly important part of wedding day hair and makeup.
Yeah, it's huge. It really is. And we don't do a trial for every single client because honestly, logistically, it's not always a possibility. A lot of our brides come from out of state and they just don't have the capability to come in for a trial. And that's okay. Or sometimes if they're coming in from out of state, we might meet with them for their trial 2 days before the wedding, and that's okay too. But a trial is definitely really important because it's time that you get to, number one, get to know your makeup artist and your hairstylist. That's the person you're going to be spending a lot of time with on the morning of your wedding day. And if it's not someone that you mesh with, you don't like their attitude, you don't like the way that they carry themselves, like that can really put a big damper on your morning. So that's something you definitely want to think about too. So when you have that trial with them, you get to know them a little bit better. You start to feel comfortable with them. You maybe can establish a little bit of trust and confidence that kind of takes a little bit of a load of pressure off of you. As you get closer to the wedding day, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what my hair and makeup's going to look like. I don't want to look like a crazy person. But if you've already had that trial, you've already spent that time with them, you're like, I'm fine. Like, this is going to be great. So there's a lot of different reasons other than just seeing what the hair and makeup's going to look like on you to meet for that trial. It's really important if you can make it happen. So all of that said, and then you also get to see the hair and makeup, which everybody wants to do. And everybody always says, oh, I'm so excited to come do my trial because it's finally the fun part of my wedding day. Picking out some different things for your wedding day sometimes is like, it's cool, but it's not like super fun. So people always really enjoy coming in. We have a private studio that is set up kind of like a bridal suite. So you can come in with, if you want to bring your mom or your maid of honor with you, that's totally fine. And what we do is we have you come in with some pictures of hair and makeup looks that you really like. And it's also really helpful if you bring your makeup artist or your hairstylist some pictures of what you don't like. Because that can give us a really good idea, a kind of well-rounded idea of what your personal style is. Because everyone is so different as to what they think is beautiful and also what they think is beautiful on themselves. It's two totally different things. So if you can bring in those pictures and you can show your person the pictures, then they can say, okay, this is kind of the vision of what they are thinking they want. And stay clear of this, like, do not give them, winged eyeliner or whatever it is that they are like, I don't like that. So I would recommend bringing in both pictures, and multiple pictures is totally fine. It's totally fine if you bring in like 3 photos and you say, on this photo, I really like that lip color. On this photo, I really like their eyelashes. It's okay. We're willing to and capable to piece that together for you and kind of see what the common thread through the 3 pictures, or how many pictures it is, the common thread through those pictures, and really build off of that and figure out what exactly is going to be the right style for you. But I will say also, a lot of times people will bring in pictures and will create that style for them, and then they'll realize it's not really me. It doesn't really look like me. It's not really my style. Like, I loved it on that model on Pinterest, but on me, it's not great. And that's totally fine too. Perfect time to be figuring that out is at the trial. So it is an important appointment that you can make for sure.
Yes. And so, another thing about the trial, if you can set it to where you're going to be having engagement photos or something like that, that allows you to see also what you feel like sometimes is, oh my goodness, so much darker or so much, not what you would normally wear, how good it looks in photos. So if you can, arrange that to where you can use them with those engagement photos, that's really helpful as well. Because I really feel like it gives you that option. And one of the things that I feel like I personally have to touch on, that I've seen so many times, is as far as when you get professional makeup done, is eyelashes. I can't tell you how many, it was a big deal for me, but how many, brides that I've been around going, oh my gosh, are you sure these look okay? Absolutely. So do you want to touch on that for just a second? Because I talk about it. It's probably the one thing I could talk about, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Eyelashes are huge. It's part of the reason why we actually include it in the price of our makeup applications, is because we want everyone to feel comfortable getting them. We don't want anyone to be like, oh, I don't know if I really want to get them. I don't really want to pay the extra money for them. We're like, no, we want you to have them because you're going to love the way it looks. So we're just going to include it in the price. So that's part of why we built it that way. But yeah, it makes a huge difference in photos, in video, in person. And there are so many different types of eyelashes. You know, you don't have to have these big giant Halloween lashes. There's so many different types, so many different textures, thicknesses, lengths. If you really, it's something that you're really, really concerned about, I would recommend getting something that is like a silk lash or a like faux mink is what you might see on the package, because those are going to be like really soft, really natural. The lash itself, like the piece of lash, on the really fake, like cheapy looking ones, it's gonna look like a stick. You know what I mean? It's gonna be really just chopped off on the end. But the really beautiful, natural looking ones that I prefer are much more tapered on the end, so it looks a lot more natural. Because when you look at someone's lash, it's not like a piece of hair. Like a piece of hair is just like a chopped off line. A lash is a little bit more, you know, tapered. So look for something like that. And a good makeup artist is going to have a really great range of lashes that they carry with them in their kit so that you can find something that's your style. Because again, that's something that is super personal and changes with pretty much every client I have. You know, some clients, they are like, give me all the drama. I want them really fluttery and fluffy. And other people are like, I just want it super, super natural. Like make it look like they're just mine. Like I've just got really good lashes by myself. So yeah, tons of different ways to do it, but definitely a must have for your wedding day, for sure.
Absolutely. I know it's going to feed, so hang on just 1 second. So yes, and even if, you know, there's a lot of couples that are watching, or a lot of people that are watching that, you know, wear lashes all the time. You know, I gave my son's girlfriend a hard time for quite a while because of lashes. And then when I came home with lashes, you should have seen, she gave me a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah.
Knowing what it does on the wedding day, even if it feels a little, you know, funny at first, you know, if you are not used to wearing lashes and you don't do a trial, because obviously that gets you used to those lashes, but highly recommend making sure that you know, that you're using someone that is going to do that for you, because it makes a huge difference in photos and everything else. So love that. Okay, is there anything else as far as hair and makeup? We have some questions that I definitely want to touch on, but is anything else as far as makeup and hair, wedding day makeup and hair?
No, I think we touched pretty much everything. Just the importance of that I would say is the importance of finding a style that is right for you, not necessarily something that you just think is a really pretty picture that maybe you've seen on Pinterest or something, but something that's right for you personally with your face shape, your hair type, your skin type, your coloring, like your skin tone and your eye color and all that stuff. But also your wedding day as a whole. You really want the wedding day to be cohesive. So you don't want to be, you know, showing up with like a super dark smoky eye and a bright red lip if your wedding day is more like mason jars and sunflowers. You know, you want to make sure that everything's really meshing well together so that in those pictures it looks like it goes together, not like you were photoshopped into somebody else's wedding. So that's definitely part of the trial too, that we really, at our company, we really stress is just helping you find that cohesive look. So not only do we ask you to bring in those pictures of the hair and makeup looks that you like, but we would also really like to see what your wedding, like, do you have pictures of yourself in your wedding dress? Do you have any photos of the flowers that you've already picked out? Or can you tell us like what venue you've already chosen? What are, you know, just the colors of the day? What color are your napkins? Like, we want to know it all, because then we can help you really guide you in the right direction as to what maybe what that style, the overall look should be that maybe you didn't even think was possible with your hair type, or maybe you didn't even know was a thing, you know? So.
And I know I've watched you do it at quite a few weddings, but I know, you know, another part that you can put into that is hair extensions, because I've actually watched you put them on the day of a wedding. And then also, I feel like, you know, a lot of brides need to realize that if they are wearing a veil, that affects, affects the hairstyle. Let alone, you need to make sure that your hair hair artist, hair
stylist, yeah, I'll be a hair artist, sure.
Is either putting that veil in, early,
Yeah.
or, what you don't want is to get a veil in and then it fall out or something like that. And that, a lot of that goes with the hairstyle.
Yeah, it really does, for sure. We do ask all of our brides to bring the veil with them if they have already have purchased it, so that we can look at that and we can kind of place it in different areas and kind of say like, okay, well, you told me you wanted a low bun, and now we're going to pop the veil in, but maybe you're like, oh, well, I don't really like how, because this region right here is what you're seeing from the front. And maybe they might say, oh, I don't really like that, I want to move it higher. Or what I really like doing is to put the veil underneath the bun. Because if you just spent all that money getting your hair done and then you put the veil on top of it and no one sees the bun, why did you get your hair done? Like, what was the point? So putting the veil underneath the bun is a really great idea. But I highly recommend definitely that you have your hairstylist put the veil in for you before they leave. And that might mean you've got your veil in, you've got your robe on and your hair and makeup's all done, you've got your veil in and you're still eating breakfast and they're leaving to go on to their whatever. But you would rather have that than have someone else who has no idea what they're doing putting your veil in for you later on and then have it just not stay at all. The wind can make it come loose. People hugging on you all day, your veil is coming down on your back and they're hugging on you all day, like that's going to pull it out.
And I'll interrupt. Just a tip that you do have a veil on your wedding day, make sure that anyone who stands beside you, you tell them to go underneath the veil. So when your husband that day, or your family, or just, that's one of the biggest tips that I give on a wedding day is, hey, make sure, because otherwise they're going like this, and causes headaches and everything else. So just make sure whoever's standing beside you that they're going underneath the veil.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, you might not even think about when you're picking out your veil how heavy it is. It might even be something that you're even registering in your mind, but you're going to be wearing that for a really long time. So you might not want to pick that one veil that you thought was so gorgeous that has tons of beading and tons of pearls and is cathedral length. You might, if you're somebody who's has more of a sensitive head, you might think, okay, I'm just going to stick with something that's really lightweight, maybe more fingertip or elbow length.
Perfect.